4 centuries after the Great Hyperspace War, the galaxy had almost forgotten the Sith. The Republic had rebuilt its fleets. Trade routes expanded deeper into the Outer Rim. The Jedi Order continued its mission as guardians of peace and justice. For generations, the war with the Sith existed only in historical records and ancient ruins. To most citizens of the Republic, the Sith were nothing more than a cautionary tale from a distant past. But the dark side has a way of resurfacing, and sometimes all it takes is one curious Jedi to awaken it. His name was Exar Kun. Exar Kun had once been considered one of the most promising Jedi of his generation. Training under the respected Jedi Master Vodosiask Boss on the world of Dantooine, Kun possessed extraordinary talent with the Force. But like many powerful Force users before him, Kun had a weakness: curiosity. While most Jedi accepted the Council's restrictions on studying dark side artifacts, Kun believed knowledge itself was never dangerous, only the misuse of knowledge. He began studying ancient Sith relics recovered from long-forgotten battlefields, fragments of holocrons, pieces of Sith weapons, tombs filled with secrets the Jedi Council had deliberately sealed away. The more Kun studied these relics, the more fascinated he became. To him, the Sith were not merely enemies. They were scholars of the Force who had explored areas the Jedi refused to touch. Kun began to believe the Jedi had limited themselves unnecessarily. If the dark side existed, why not understand it? Why not learn how it worked? Why not use that knowledge to better protect the galaxy? But the Jedi Council had seen this pattern before. They warned him to stop. They ordered him to abandon his research, and when Kun refused, they expelled him from the order. But by that point, it was already too late. The dark side had begun to influence him. Exar Kun left Dantooine determined to uncover the true secrets of the Sith. His search eventually led him to the ancient Sith homeworld, Korriban, the same planet where Ajunta Pal and the first Dark Lords had built their empire thousands of years earlier. The Valley of the Dark Lords still stood. Massive pyramids carved into the red stone desert marked the tombs of ancient Sith rulers. Most travelers avoided the valley. Even experienced Force users could feel the darkness radiating from the ancient burial grounds. But Exar Kun walked into the valley willingly. Inside the tombs, he faced the spirits of long-dead Sith Lords. Each tomb contained ancient traps designed to test those who dared enter. Force illusions, deadly creatures, ancient Sith magic. Kun survived them all. One by one, he passed the trials meant to prove whether he was worthy of the Sith legacy. When he finally emerged from the final tomb, the spirit of an ancient Sith Lord appeared before him. Freedon Nad. Nad had once been a Jedi who turned to the dark side and built his own kingdom on the planet Onderon centuries earlier. Though his body had long since decayed, his spirit endured through the dark side. For years, Nad had waited for someone strong enough to continue his work. In Exar Kun, he saw the perfect apprentice. Nad began teaching Kun the secrets of the Sith, dark side sorcery, Sith alchemy, ancient rituals lost to history. Kun absorbed the knowledge quickly. But as his power grew, so did his ambition. Eventually, Kun realized something important. The Sith philosophy taught that the weak served the strong, and that included masters. In a confrontation inside Nad's tomb, Kun used the very techniques Nad had taught him to destroy the ancient spirit. The former Jedi had surpassed his master. And with that act, Kun declared himself a new Dark Lord of the Sith. But Kun had no intention of ruling from Korriban. Instead, he sought a location that would allow him to rebuild the Sith legacy. He found it on a remote jungle moon, Yavin IV. Hidden deep in the Outer Rim, Yavin IV was covered in ancient temples built by the Sith thousands of years earlier. These temples contained powerful devices left behind by Naga Sadow, machines capable of amplifying dark side energy, perfect tools for someone seeking to rebuild the Sith Order. The moon was also home to the Massassi, a primitive warrior species descended from ancient Sith servants. To the Massassi, Exar Kun appeared as a god. Just as a Junta Pal had done thousands of years earlier, Kun accepted their worship. Under his leadership, the Massassi became his army. Within the temples of Yavin IV, Kun began rebuilding the Sith. But he knew one Sith Lord alone could not challenge the Republic. He needed allies, and fate had already prepared one, a Jedi named Ulic Qel-Droma. Ulic was one of the Order's most respected young knights. Brave, charismatic, and fiercely loyal to the Republic, he had already distinguished himself in numerous battles. But like Exar Kun, Ulic possessed a dangerous trait: pride. When a dark side cult known as the Krath spread across the Empress Teta system, Ulic volunteered for a dangerous mission. He would infiltrate the cult, pretend to join them, learn their secrets, and destroy them from within. It was a risky plan, one the Jedi Council strongly opposed. But Ulic insisted he could resist the dark side. At first, his infiltration appeared successful. He gained the trust of the Krath leadership. He learned their rituals. He gathered intelligence. But the dark side is rarely obvious. Its corruption is subtle, gradual. The more time Ulic spent among the Krath, the more his beliefs began to shift. Anger became easier to access. Compassion felt like weakness. Power became intoxicating. By the time Exar Kun finally revealed himself to the galaxy, Ulic had already begun his fall. The two dark side users met soon after. When Ulic first encountered Exar Kun, he still believed he could defeat him, but the confrontation changed everything. Instead of killing Ulic, Kun offered him something else: power. Together they could rebuild the Sith. Together they could overthrow the Republic. Together they could reshape the galaxy. For a moment he hesitated, but then something happened that sealed his fate. During a battle with the Jedi, Ulic accidentally killed his own brother, Qel-Droma. The guilt shattered him, and in that moment of grief and anger, the dark side consumed him completely. Ulic accepted Kun's offer. Together, Exar Kun and Ulic Qel-Droma became the leaders of a new Sith movement, the Brotherhood of the Sith. Their armies spread across the galaxy. Krath forces seized entire systems. Massassi warriors attacked Republic worlds. Dark side temples emerged in hidden locations across the Outer Rim. The Jedi Order faced its greatest crisis since the Great Hyperspace War. Because this time the enemy was not a distant empire. It was former Jedi, masters of the same techniques the Order relied on. The war that followed would become known as the Great Sith War. Entire star systems burned. Jedi fought Jedi. Republic fleets clashed with Sith warships,
and across the galaxy, the dark side rose once again. But as history had proven many times before, the Sith's greatest enemy would again be themselves, because ambition always breeds betrayal. And the final battle of the Great Sith War would determine whether the galaxy belonged to the Jedi or the Sith.
The Great Sith War had reached its darkest hour. Across the Republic, worlds burned under the banners of the Brotherhood of the Sith. Jedi fought former brothers and sisters. Republic fleets clashed with Sith armadas in battles that turned entire star systems into graveyards of drifting wreckage. At the center of the storm stood two figures, Exar Kun and Ulic Qel-Droma. Together they had done what no Sith since the ancient Empire had accomplished. They had nearly broken the Republic. Yet the greatest threat to the Sith was not the Jedi. It was their own ambition. Deep within the ancient temples of Yavin IV, Exar Kun was pursuing something far more dangerous than war: power over time itself. The temples of Yavin IV. The temple, scattered across the jungle moon, had been built thousands of years earlier by the Sith warlord Naga Sadow. Most believed they were simply places of dark side meditation. But buried beneath the pyramids were ancient machines, devices designed to amplify the Force beyond natural limits. Exar Kun had discovered something extraordinary in their deepest chambers. The temples were not just conduits of dark side power. They were resonators, machines capable of amplifying echoes in the Force across space and across time. The Force, after all, did not exist in a straight line. Past, present, future, all were connected. Kun believed he could reach beyond his own era. If the Sith of the past could guide him, why not the Sith of the future? The ritual begins. In the heart of the great temple, Exar Kun gathered his Massassi followers. Thousands of warriors knelt in silence as their dark lord stood before the ancient machine. The air vibrated with dark side energy. Lightning crackled along the temple walls. Kun raised his hands and began the ritual. Through the Force he reached outward, beyond the stars, beyond the centuries, seeking power, seeking knowledge, seeking the ultimate Sith legacy. At first there was only darkness. Then something answered. Not a voice, not a spirit, but a presence. Cold, relentless, filled with rage, and unlike anything Kun had ever felt before. A shadow from another age. The temple trembled as the Force rippled violently. Kun's vision expanded. Time fractured around him, and in the darkness of that vision he saw a figure. Black armor, a mechanical breath echoing through the void, a crimson blade igniting in the darkness. Standing before him was a warrior from a distant future, Darth Vader. Kun did not understand the vision completely, but he felt the power radiating from the figure. This was no ordinary Sith. This was something else, something forged through unimaginable suffering. The vision of the future. Through the distortion in the Force, Kun saw fragments of Vader's life. A Jedi Knight betrayed by fear, a galaxy consumed by war, an empire ruling through terror, and a master even more powerful behind it all. The Sith had survived. Thousands of years after Kun's war, the Sith still ruled. But the vision showed something else. Pain, regret, chains. The warrior in black armor was powerful beyond measure, but he was also enslaved, bound to another Sith Lord. The vision ended with the destruction of that empire. The Sith of the future had fallen, just as the Sith of Kun's era would soon fall. But the connection did not flow in only one direction. Across the currents of the Force, Darth Vader felt the disturbance. Far in the future, aboard an Imperial Star Destroyer, Vader paused in meditation. The Force shifted violently. He sensed ancient darkness, something reaching out from the distant past. And for a brief moment, Vader saw Yavin IV. He saw Exar Kun, and he saw the ancient Sith temples alive with power. Vader understood immediately. These were the echoes of an earlier war, a war that had shaped the Sith legacy he now served. But the connection could not last. Time resisted the intrusion. The Force began collapsing the vision. Before the connection vanished, Vader spoke a single sentence. Power alone does not secure victory. Kun heard the words echo through the temple, and then the vision ended. The turning ignored. The Massassi warriors stared in awe. They had witnessed their Dark Lord communicating with something beyond comprehension. Kun, however, was furious. The vision had shown him something he refused to accept. Even the Sith of the future had fallen. That meant one thing. They were weak. Kun would not repeat their failure. He would succeed where every Sith before him had failed. He would destroy the Jedi completely. Then the war outside the temples was reaching its climax. Ulic Qel-Droma led Sith forces across multiple systems, crushing Republic fleets and spreading terror through the Outer Rim. But the dark side demanded a price. Ulic's transformation was not complete. Despite everything he had done, fragments of the Jedi he once was still remained. Those fragments would soon destroy everything. During a confrontation on Ossus, Ulic faced his former master. The battle that followed was brutal, but it was not a lightsaber that defeated him. It was the Force itself. Through an ancient technique, Ulic's connection to the Force was severed. In a single moment, the power he had relied on was gone. The dark side vanished. The light side vanished. For the first time in years, Ulic felt clarity and the horror of what he had become. The final battle of Yavin IV. While Ulic faced redemption, Exar Kun prepared for his final stand. The Jedi Order had located the Sith stronghold. Thousands of Jedi gathered for the assault. Among them were masters who had studied the Force for centuries. They understood something important. Exar Kun could not simply be killed. His spirit was too powerful. If destroyed normally, his essence might escape and corrupt the galaxy again. Instead, the Jedi prepared a ritual, one never attempted before. A mass Force ceremony involving thousands of Jedi working together. Their goal was not to destroy Kun, but to imprison him forever. The ritual of light. As Jedi forces invaded Yavin IV, battles erupted across the jungle moon. Massassi warriors fought desperately to protect their Dark Lord. Temples burned, lightsabers clashed in the shadows of ancient pyramids. But slowly, the Jedi pushed forward. In the Great Temple, Exar Kun realized the truth. His empire was collapsing, his armies were dying, and the Jedi were preparing something far worse than death. Rather than surrender, Kun made his final choice. Using the same machines built by Naga Sadow, he performed a terrible ritual. Kun sacrificed the life force of thousands of Massassi warriors. Their deaths fueled to transformation. His physical body disintegrated, but his spirit remained. A being of pure dark side energy.
When the Jedi ritual began, they unleashed a wave of light-side power unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Thousands of voices spoke as one through the Force. The temple shook. The sky above Yavin IV turned white with energy. Kun's spirit screamed in rage as the ritual trapped him within the temple, not destroyed, but imprisoned. The legacy of the war. When the battle ended, the Great Sith War was over. The Brotherhood of the Sith had been destroyed. Ulic Qel-Droma lived the rest of his life in exile, seeking redemption for the crimes he had committed, and Exar Kun remained trapped within the ruins of Yavin IV, a ghost of the dark side, waiting. For thousands of years, the temples stood abandoned. The jungle slowly reclaimed them, but deep within the stone walls, Kun's spirit endured, and far in the future, another Sith would walk those same temples, Darth Vader's son, Luke Skywalker. The echoes of the past would return once again, because in the galaxy of Star Wars, time
does not erase the darkness. It only buries it, waiting for someone foolish enough to awaken it again. If you enjoyed this journey into the ancient history of the galaxy, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter. Many more legends from the Old Republic are still waiting to be uncovered. Subscribe and continue exploring the hidden stories of the Force.